Hello lovebirds, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been a while since I've been here, but I thought it was really important to give the Black Lives Matter movement the space it needed to spread awareness and spread their message throughout all social media platforms. Also, I needed a little bit of time to digest everything, to educate myself, and to move forward on a better note. So, that being said, and now that I'm back here, and now that we have just left Pride Month, I think it's important to put this little platform to good use. So, all the profits from this video will be donated to the Glitz Inc. Foundation in New York City. Glitz advocates and educates to ensure health, wellness and inclusion of transgender people in our society, and to address the stigmatization and criminalization of trans people throughout. Now, all you need to do to help out for this amazing cause is to leave this video playing with the ads on. If you don't feel like watching but you do want to help out, then just put me on mute, throw me on the couch. I'll also leave a link down below in the description box so you can take a look at Glitz Inc. and what they do and what they are all about. Now let's get started. We are blocking out these brows today. So I feel like blocking out brows is one of those fundamental makeup skills you want to have as a makeup artist. And I found that out last week during a shoot for Couture Week for Ronald van der Kemp. We were on set. I had 5 models and myself, and out of those 6 people, we blocked out 4 pairs of eyebrows, bleached 1, and left 1 alone. So let's get started with today's video. I'm going to walk you through everything you will need to get these brows fully disappeared. So we are starting with the most essential one, which is ELMER'S glue stick, the purple version. This is the only thing that I have noticed that will block out everything perfectly and will stick to the skin and will not move anywhere. Then you will need a spoolie. I really love the Throwaway spoolie, these softer ones. Now I always clean those and reuse them again. Then you will need alcohol or alcohol wipes. I prefer 70% alcohol and a cotton pad, but if you have alcohol wipes for disinfecting lying around, that will also work. Then a foundation stick. My preferred foundation stick for this now is the Hourglass Vanish foundation stick, but Kryolan TV paint stick is, I think, the most beloved one in this whole industry. Then obviously you will need setting powder. My preferred one is the RCMA No Color Powder because it mattifies everything and it sets everything into place beautifully. But what I've also figured out along the way is that I really like a colored powder, a colored setting powder, to kind of color correct the gray tones that a blocked brow will leave in your face. So I've also got a warmer powder and an even warmer one right here so that I can color correct my brows before applying the foundation. Now let's just get started with the first step. You will soak a cotton pad in alcohol. I've always got it in a spray bottle. Make sure it's nicely soaked through, and then you will go against the grain of the hair so that you can actually degrease every tiny hair in that brow. Then I like to press in the cotton pads just to make sure that really everything is nicely done, because if there's any grease left on these brows, they will not stick to your skin. There you go. Now the beauty about the ELMER'S glue stick is that it is full on purple when you look at it, but it will dry up translucent and there will be nothing left on show. Now the very first layer of this glue stick is very important to coat as well the front as the back of the hairs so that it sticks nicely to the skin. So we are going to backcomb through those brows to get a generous layer on there. And I like to kind of swirl it around the eyebrows because I've got a really thick patch right there. They look absolutely crazy right now, but I promise you that will work out beautifully. Now we are going to brush everything up, straight up into the air so that everything can lay flat against the skin. Sometimes I also like to go in with the harder edge of the Soap Brows, a little spoolie brush, because it is able to put a little bit more pressure on the brow so that it can really swipe everything up into the air. Now I'm going to press everything down with my fingers before going in with a second layer. And yes, the point is to look absolutely crazy. Now, it is very important that you get this first layer as perfect as possible and as flat as possible. I've also heard a very good tip that a flea comb could work wonders on brows, but I haven't had the time to get one of those yet. If I do, I will keep you updated on how that is working out, but you want to get that first layer as flat as possible. So if you look here, you can see the hairs protruding from my skin. If you look there, it looks nice and flat for the first layer. Now, there will be some obnoxious hair that wanna peek on through, but that is why we are applying a second, a third, and a fourth layer. So let's get to it. Onto the second layer. Now for the second layer, it is very important that you don't backcomb it anymore. You don't want to mess up the texture that you've already created with your first layer. Also very important is to let it dry as much as you can. When it's not tacky anymore, you know you are ready for the second layer. If you don't feel like waiting around for that first layer to dry up, you can use a blow dryer or maybe just a fan to quicken up that drying process. There you have it, second layer done. If you feel like your glue is going up a little bit too much, just grab onto that alcohol wipe and wipe off the excess so that you don't have a weird texture on the upper side of your brows. I quickly did the other brow off camera. There are 3 layers on there right now, and we are going in with a fourth and final one. Now, the reason we are doing so many layers is because sometimes you have some shorter hairs or maybe some fuzzy peach hairs that peek on through, and you want to get it as flat as possible. So if you look at it now, the sheen kind of portrays how smooth it is, and you want to keep it as smooth as possible. Now, what do you do when you don't have a smooth surface? Apply another layer and use your middle finger to apply a lot of pressure and push it upwards, because this is not a gentle technique. This is something that needs a slightly rougher hand, a little bit of force. Then make sure it really glues all the way down and is thoroughly dry before we apply anything else. Now that we have got all our layers on, it is time for powder. Now you really want to set everything really well and bake it for as long as you can. I'm going in with the slightly darker setting powder very first. This is the Anastasia loose setting powder in golden orange. I'm going to use it to color correct the brows before setting another layer of translucent powder over this. I'm just going to dip the tip of my beauty blender in this because it does not need to be much. You just want to use the right amount to color correct the grayness of the brow. So I'm just going in with the tip, but what is important is that you apply a lot of pressure. I'm just going to wipe off the excess from the bottom of the brow and the top of the brow, and then I'm going to cover the entire thing with another layer, but then with translucent powder. I've put a bit of the RCMA powder into the cap of the Anastasia one. I'm thoroughly going to dip my beauty blender in there and then cover the entire brow with lots of powder. It might be a good idea to not wear white when doing this, by the way. I have let it bake for about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just going to take a clean brush and wipe off all of the excess. Now you will still see a little bit of that darker powder, but that's all right because we are going to cover everything with the foundation stick. So no need to fret. Now we are going to take our foundation stick. I am using the Hourglass Vanish foundation stick in the color Shell, and I am going to cover the brow all the way through. Now I am going to go against the grain just a slight bit so that I can cover any of the indentations that might be left after all of our previous steps. Then I'm going to take the bottom of this beauty blender, apply a bit of that foundation right onto that little bum, and then I'm going to blend everything out. Now, it's quite hard to avoid a thicker base when you are blocking out your brows, so I'm trying to shear everything out towards the outer perimeters of my face. If you feel like you've applied a little bit too much product onto any area, take a clean beauty blender and just blend away some of that excess. Now, once again, I am going to set the brow area with translucent powder while I do the rest of my base. It is time to brush off all of the excess powder, and then we should have perfectly blocked eyebrows. There you have it, loves, my tutorial on how to block brows. Now you can do anything you want after this. You can resketch another brow, you can cover it with color, you can do anything you want, and I find it very useful as a skill to have backstage on set. Now if you have any questions, please pop them down below, and don't forget to check out Glitz Ink Foundation in New York City. Now I really hope you've enjoyed this video. This was it for the spoken part. I'm now going to create something entirely different, and I'm going to get creative because what else would I do with a blocked out brow? So hope you'll enjoy. Stick around if you want to watch the rest, and I hope to see you next time. Bye!